San, ni, iti, rin here, dear girl, Takibi Totoy, the cat girl who's Totoyli Momoi Kyun, your heart. Over the past few days, I've been re-immersing myself in a very familiar place. Hyrule. Again. But not the peaceful Ocarina era Hyrule I grew up with. This time, it's the shattered, sky-split, gloom-infested world of Tears of the Kingdom. I finally finished the last part of the game that I had been putting off. I don't know why I waited so long. Life happens, I guess. But once I got back in, I couldn't stop. And after seeing the whole story through to the end, my perspective shifted so much that I knew I had to do this. A full, updated review. Not just based on early impressions or hype, but based on the complete experience. So get cozy, maybe grab a mug of mushroom elixir, and let's take a thoughtful, slightly chaotic, fully heartfelt look at Tears of the Kingdom. When I first played Tears of the Kingdom, I had some pretty big criticisms, especially about the way the story was structured. It felt too spread out, like I was piecing together a scrapbook instead of following a proper narrative arc. Most of the emotional core was buried in flashbacks you had to hunt down. But now that I've experienced the full resolution, it's grown on me quite a bit. The conclusion brings together everything in a way that feels meaningful. It's not just a checklist of plot points. It's a moment of real emotional closure. And frankly, it's the most satisfying ending we've had in the series since Ocarina of Time, in my opinion. I think that part of the magic is how well the final act draws on the entire journey. There's weight to the choices, the characters, and to Zelda's fate. It's the kind of conclusion that feels earned, and that's something I deeply appreciate. Now, I can't talk about the game without bringing up Ultra Hand. I both admire it and quietly dread it. It's such a cool concept. Build anything, solve puzzles creatively, launch yourself into the air with a giant rocket chair. But in practice, it's clunky as all hell. Trying to attach a wheel to a correct corner of a slab while a like slithers nearby is not my idea of serenity. That said, auto build absolutely redeems it. Being able to save and recall blueprints is brilliant. It takes a tool that was sometimes frustrating and makes it fluid, usable, and honestly kind of addictive. Now I can crash the same badly designed flying machine into a mountain 6 times in a row without having to rebuild it each time. We call that progress. Okay, time for what I consider to be one of the most underrated parts of the game, the music. If you haven't beaten the game yet, feel free to skip ahead, but I have to talk about it. As a musician and composer myself, I'm kind of obligated to talk about it, you know? The soundtrack in Tears of the Kingdom feels much more like a classic Zelda soundtrack than the one in Breath of the Wild ever did. Each area has its own sonic identity. The Sky Islands are airy and light with woodwind melodies at the forefront. The surface has a much more grounded piano and string texture to it. And the depths, oh my, the depths. They are full of tense, unsettling brass blaring at you constantly. And then you have the final lead up to Ganondorf and the encounter with Ganondorf. The lead up through Groom's Lair is tense and dark, and the music builds beautifully. When Ganondorf finally awakens and transforms into his youthful, terrifying form, the music explodes into a full blown orchestral callback to the past games. The first phase uses motifs from Link to the Past, and the second brings in Ocarina of Time's final battle theme with Ganondorf, but reinterpreted in 23/8 time. It's so off balance and intense, it makes you feel like you're dancing on a blade's edge. When the sages arrive and their themes layer into the mix, instant goosebumps. It's triumphant without being cheesy. It gives the battle emotional depth that just goes beyond fighting a boss. And that final dive to save Zelda, from the game's main theme to Zelda's Lullaby to the original Legend of Zelda main theme, which, mind you, this game uses very sparingly, makes a subtle yet elegant and beautiful final climactic piece. Now let's talk about him, Ganondorf. He's terrifying in this game. The design is incredible, commanding, mythic, and yes, just a little too attractive. And he fights back, not in a scripted way, but in a reactive, skill based way. He can flurry rush you, he steals your techniques, he permanently removes hearts. That moment actually caught me so off guard I actually almost dropped my controller. This is exactly the kind of final boss that Zelda needed. One that feels like an actual threat, not just a cinematic moment. There's real tension in the fight. Every phase feels earned. I was surprised by how many nods there are to past Zelda games. Some subtle, some bold. Bomb flowers, likes, Gibdos, Phantom Ganon, even Pose, though this time they're collectible. And yes, we basically have Puppet Zelda from Twilight Princess. Terrifying, and I loved it. There are also nice surprises, like the return of magic armor, sort of, and the reappearance of the Gleeok, which hasn't shown up since the Oracle game. There's this sense that the game is pulling pieces from all across the series and combining them into something new while still honoring its roots. While Tears of the Kingdom shares its engine and base world with Breath of the Wild, it still manages to carve out a very distinct identity. The Sky Islands are vibrant and surreal, the depths are bleak and haunting, and everything in between feels alive, a dynamic, and more filled in. The art style is consistent, colorful, and expressive. It might not be revolutionary in terms of technical graphics, but artistically, it's a gorgeous world. And I never got tired of stopping to take in the view. All of this leaves me with one major hope for the next 3D Zelda: bring back magic. Magic meters, spells, and strategic resource management added a layer of depth that I think we're missing now. Imagine combining that Ultra Hand style creativity with magic. The possibilities are incredible. I'd also love to see the vehicle mechanics evolve. Let me build like flying ships, underwater gear, and maybe even dungeon specific tech. I think the creative direction of Tears of the Kingdom has opened up doors for some really exciting innovations in the next entry. As of right now, there's no new announcement for a next 3D Zelda, but I will be making a video soon about what I'd love to see, so keep an eye out for that. So, with all that said, having seen the full game and really let it sit, I'm ready to give the final score. I give Tears of the Kingdom an 8.3 out of 10 Stone Eye Secret Stones. It's not flawless, but it's bold, beautiful, and more meaningful than I expected. It surprised me in the best possible way. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this journey through Hyrule once again. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Your support means so much to me. And with that, I'm signing off. Keep your Ultra Hand steadies, your batteries charged, and your heart containers full. Until next time, bye!